You know that feeling, don't you? The one where life suddenly feels heavier than it should. You're lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, and somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice asks, "What am I doing with my life?" Or worse, "How am I supposed to face what's coming next?" It could be a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, a career change that terrifies you, a loss that still echoes in your chest, or simply the slow, creeping dread that you're not brave enough for the life you actually want to live. If this sounds familiar, please know that you are not broken. You are not a coward. You are simply a human being standing at the edge of your own fear, searching for a reason to step forward. The word courage often brings to mind images of soldiers charging into battle or firefighters running into burning buildings. But the kind of courage I want to talk about today is quieter, more intimate, and far more relevant to your everyday life. It's the courage to get out of bed when your heart feels like lead. It's the courage to admit you were wrong. It's the courage to sit with uncertainty, to not have all the answers, and to keep going even when the path ahead is completely dark. Developing this kind of courage is not about eliminating fear. That's a fantasy. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the realization that something else is more important than fear. The question is, how do you cultivate that realization? How do you train your mind to rise when everything in you wants to shrink? One of the most powerful tools for building this unshakable inner strength comes from an ancient philosophy called stoicism. I know that word might sound cold or emotionless at first. Many people mistakenly believe that stoicism is about suppressing your feelings, becoming a robot, or pretending that pain doesn't hurt. But that couldn't be further from the truth. At its heart, Stoicism is a deeply practical and humane way of navigating suffering. It was developed by people who knew real hardship, like Epictetus, who was born a slave, or Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who spent much of his reign fighting wars and dealing with plagues. These weren't naive optimists. They were realists who discovered a secret that you can use today. You don't have control over what happens to you, but you have absolute control over how you respond. Think about the last time you felt truly afraid. Maybe it was a medical diagnosis, a financial crisis, or a relationship falling apart. Now separate that event into two parts. The first part is the event itself, the test results, the unpaid bill, the painful words. The second part is everything that happened inside your mind afterward. The catastrophic thoughts, the sleepless nights, the stories you told yourself about being a failure, the imagined futures where everything goes wrong. The ancient Stoics would tell you that the first part, the external event, is largely beyond your control. But the second part, that's all you. That's where your power lives. As Epictetus famously said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is the foundation of real courage. Courage begins when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and start taking full responsibility for your own judgments. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you're about to give a presentation at work and your hands are shaking. The external event is the presentation itself. The internal response is your fear of judgment, your memory of past embarrassments, your belief that you're not good enough. A person lacking courage would try to eliminate the fear first. They'd wait until they felt confident. They'd look for a magic formula to remove the anxiety. And they'd probably wait forever because the fear never fully disappears. A person developing courage through the lens of Stoicism would do something different. They would acknowledge the fear, say hello to it, accept it as a natural biological response. But then they would choose their action regardless. They would say to themselves, "I am afraid, but that does not change what I must do. My worth is not in being perfect. My worth is in showing up." That shift is everything. Courage is not a feeling that arrives before the action. It is the action itself taken in the presence of fear. Every single time you do the thing you are afraid of, you are not just surviving that moment. You are rewiring your brain. You are building evidence for a new identity, the identity of someone who faces things. The Stoics called this the discipline of assent, the practice of agreeing only with thoughts that serve your highest self and rejecting the ones that paralyze you. That voice that says you can't handle this is just a thought. You don't have to believe it. You can simply observe it, thank it for its concern, and then do what you came to do. Now I can almost hear you thinking, that sounds nice in theory, but my situation is different. You don't understand the depth of my loss, the size of my anxiety, the darkness of my past. And you're right, I don't know your specific pain. But here is what the great traditions of resilience teach us. Suffering is universal, but meaning is personal. The reason you are searching for meaning in your life is the very reason you can develop courage. Because courage is not about being fearless. It's about having a why that is stronger than your what if. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the concentration camps, wrote that those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. He was deeply influenced by Stoicism, and he proved that even in the most unimaginable horror, a person can choose their inner attitude. He saw fellow prisoners who walked through the huts comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They had nothing external left, no freedom, no dignity in the eyes of their captors. But they still had the one thing no one could take, the freedom to choose their response. So how do you find that why for yourself? This is where the search for meaning meets the practice of courage. You don't need to have your entire life figured out. You just need to know what matters most to you in this breath, this hour, this day. Maybe your why is love. You want to be present for your children, so you find the courage to get help for your depression. Maybe your why is integrity. You want to live honestly, so you find the courage to leave a toxic relationship. Maybe your why is simply curiosity. You want to see what you are capable of, so you find the courage to try that business, that art, that move to a new city. Your meaning does not have to be grand or religious. It just has to be true to you. And when you connect with that truth, fear loses its stranglehold. Let's get practical. You are here to develop courage, not just admire it. So let me offer you a few exercises inspired by Stoicism that you can start using today. First, practice the premeditation of evils. This sounds dark, but it's actually liberating. Take 5 minutes in the morning to imagine the worst that could happen in your day. Really picture it, the criticism, the rejection, the failure. Now ask yourself, could I survive that? Could I still find a way to act with dignity if that happened? The answer is almost always yes. By facing the worst in your imagination, you rob it of its power to surprise you. You realize that even your greatest fear is just another situation to be met with your inner resources. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wrote that the mind that is anxious about the future is miserable. But when you have already rehearsed the worst, the actual event feels smaller, more manageable. Second, practice the view from above. When you are drowning in a stressful situation, zoom out. Imagine yourself from a bird's eye view. See your house, your street, your city, your country, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy. See how tiny your problem is in the vast scale of space and time. This is not meant to belittle your pain. It is meant to put it in perspective. Your embarrassing mistake will be forgotten in 100 years. Your financial setback is one moment in a long life. This exercise does not remove the difficulty, but it removes the suffocating sense of permanence and importance that fear creates. You realize that you are a small part of a huge, mysterious universe, and that realization is strangely comforting. You are free to try, free to fail, free to get up again, because the cosmos does not need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be real. Third, and most importantly, practice amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is the highest level of courage. It's not just accepting what happens to you, it's embracing it. It's looking at the hardest moments of your life and saying, this too was necessary. This shaped me. I would not be who I am without this. Does that sound impossible? Perhaps for today, but you can start small. You can look at a minor inconvenience, a canceled flight, a spilled coffee, a rude comment, and instead of reacting with anger, you can say, let me see what this teaches me. Over time, this practice rewires your entire relationship with reality. You stop fighting life and start dancing with it. You become like a seasoned sailor who does not curse the wind but adjusts the sails. That is courage at its most mature. The quiet, radical acceptance of what is, combined with the unbreakable will to respond well. I know that developing courage is not a one-time decision. It's 1,000 small decisions made in the dark. It's choosing to have the difficult conversation when you'd rather hide. It's choosing to start the project when you're sure you'll fail. It's choosing to get out of bed and face another day of grief, knowing that the sun will rise whether you are ready or not. And there will be days when you fail. You will give in to fear. You will hide, lie, procrastinate, or numb yourself. That's okay. That's human. Courage is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Every time you fall and rise again, you are exercising that power. You are building a core of steel wrapped in compassion. What does courage look like in your life right now this week? Maybe it looks like finally saying, I need help to someone you trust. Maybe it looks like setting a boundary with a person who drains you. Maybe it looks like admitting that you've been lying to yourself about a dream you abandoned. Maybe it looks like simply staying present with your pain instead of escaping into a screen or a bottle. Courage wears a different face for every person. But the common thread is always the same. It is the decision to feel the fear and act anyway, because your values are louder than your terror. You are searching for meaning. That search in itself is an act of courage. Most people never dare to ask the big questions. They numb themselves with distractions and settle for a life of quiet desperation. But you are reading this. You are still looking. You are still hoping that there is a version of you who is brave, who is whole, who can look the chaos of life in the eye and not blink. That version of you is not some distant ideal. It is you in this very moment, choosing to practice a different way of being. You don't have to be fearless, you just have to be willing. And the beautiful, surprising truth is this: the more you act with courage, the more meaningful your life becomes. Meaning is not a destination you arrive at. It is a byproduct of showing up fully to the reality of your existence. When you stop running from your fears and start walking toward them with the quiet tools of stoicism in your heart, you will find that the very situations you dreaded become your teachers. The loss teaches you gratitude for what remains. The failure teaches you humility and resilience. The uncertainty teaches you to trust your own spirit. So take a breath, put your hand on your chest and feel your heart beating. That heartbeat is your permission slip. No one is coming to save you, and that is good news because it means you never needed saving. You only needed to remember who you are. You are a person who can face any situation, not because you are invincible, but because you are willing to be vulnerable, to learn, to fall, and to rise. That is the courage that changes lives. That is the courage that transforms fear into wisdom and emptiness into meaning. Start small, start now. Take one tiny step toward the thing that scares you today, and then another tomorrow. Before you know it, you won't be asking, how do I find courage? You'll be asking, what fear should I face next? And you'll smile because you'll finally know the answer, all of them, one breath at a time.